we popped a wheelie.
Yeah.
I mean, just. Holy shit! Oh my god! It's so fast! 3,000? Yeah, it hooks. Hello and welcome to another Kyle Connor YouTube channel video. Today might be death. I'm about to get inside a classic Mini with over 500 horsepower to the wheels. We're not talking losses, we're talking at the tires, 500 horsepower in what was originally a 1,300 pound classic Mini Cooper. This is going to be insane. For those of you who haven't taken a look at out of spec reviews, Andreas and I just drove the electric classic Mini right here. This has a Tesla Model S front drive unit, front wheel drive, 31 kilowatt hour gross battery pack in this particular one, 28, 29 usable, 300 horsepower. We took it up through some amazing wineries. We thought the car was stupid fast and really fun and just absolutely amazing and so well built. It uses the electric classic cars conversion kit. If you come in here, I'll show you just a quick glance if you haven't checked out that video on our reviews channel. But you know, custom exterior color, bespoke interior. If you get up close here, Andreas, and show everyone the inside, it is just beautiful. Some of the selections in here, again, single reduction gear selector in the place where the manual transmission would be. Amazing car, really well done. Roughly $120,000 for this particular one, and what a serious machine you can have. I always say cars are for me, it should be about experiences that can't be replicated anywhere else. And truly, you cannot get an experience that this car offers at any price point anywhere else. It's just a unique thing. So for collectors out there, this makes so much sense. But there are some idiots out there like me that want to feel like we're dying on the road. And you and I have driven some crazy cars together on this channel over the years, and this one is definitely going to be up there. This is the Gildred Racing 500 horsepower V6 supercharged Mini. It's a mid-mounted engine, maybe even considered rear, but pretty mid-engined rear drive, so it's no longer front-wheel drive. Huge geometry change to this car. The whole experience is going to be different. And it was originally a 3.2 liter V6 out of like a CL Type S, but then it uses a crank from a Honda Odyssey, and it's basically stroked out to 3.5 liters, supercharged with a centrifugal supercharger, 6-speed manual, close ratio. Some friends of mine have driven this car just for reviews and other things, and I'm just really lucky I'll have the opportunity to drive this. I actually have seen my friend Matt from The Smoking Tire did a review of this car, and it was probably the funniest thing I've ever seen him do, because he just looked like death at every time he squeezed on the accelerator pedal, and Zach was in the car with him. It was amazing. So I'm really lucky that I'll have an opportunity to go for a go. Yeah, I mean, I think we'll take it easy. We're trying not to put this thing into a ditch or anything, but it will be crazy to experience truly one of the craziest classic Minis out there. So let's talk to some of the engineers on this project before we go for a drive, figure out roughly what's been done to it. And then it also has some interesting touches like heated and cooled seats and air conditioning and other things you wouldn't expect, because it's also meant to be a little bit of a daily driver slash axe murderer. So really looking forward to having a go. And yeah, let's talk to some folks here and then we'll take it out for a drive. Well, you join me behind the camera here at Gildred Racing with Nate, who had a lot of work to do on this project. So Nate, what the hell have you built here? Because this thing looks stupid.
Yeah, I mean, it's Super Cooper. It's, yeah, 500 horsepower, mid-engine, rear-wheel drive, 1972 Mini Cooper. Like, what more could you possibly want?
So it's a 72 body.
Yep.
Now the conversion's been done for some amount of time.
It's been done for 74 Mini Cooper. I've been told it's a 74 Mini Cooper.
Okay, 74.
It's we've had it done for at least like 6 years at this point, I think. Like going on 6 years, I think.
Wow.
So it's got some miles on it. It's been thrashed a bit.
Yeah, Hoonigan had this car doing some stupid stuff.
Yeah,
they
I mean,
freaking blew the trunk off this thing in a drag race.
It's been on Yeah, so Netflix fastest car. It was Matt Farah took it out. It's been on Hoonigan. It's been to the Burnyard with Hoonigan, and yeah, and now you're here.
Now we're doing it.
So yeah, it's definitely been put through its paces a few times.
And what if someone wanted to buy this car or something similar? What are there any options? Because obviously you guys are building the craziest, of course, electric and combustion minis out there.
Yeah.
What does it look like for like the people who don't have enough excitement in their life?
Right. We're working on even more exciting ones. This one is about 500 to the wheels. The next one's going to be 6 or 7 plus to the wheels.
Oh my
That's going to
God.
be a turbo K series car. This is a supercharged J series car.
So different characters then.
Different characters, and also the next ones are going to be lighter. The K series is hundreds of pounds lighter than the J series is, and so we're adding lightness and adding horsepower, and so they should just be even crazier. We're also really reworking the suspension on the new ones. This car's got some characteristics that we're not hugely crazy about.
Yeah, I remember Matt was saying it was fairly darty
It's
and
a little
likes
darty,
to.
it's a little twitchy, and we're asking a lot from 60-year-old suspension technology at this point.
Yes.
So while the rear end in this is very custom, the front end is not so custom. It's aftermarket, but it's classic Mini in essence, and so
Right, the geometry is pretty close to classic Mini.
yeah, it really is. And so we're trying to kind of rework some of that to make it a little bit more stable at speed, because they were never really intended to go more than 65, 70. And so when you start asking a lot more of them, they get a little bit twitchy.
And for those, our audience, we also did another video on this car I was saying at the beginning of the video. Could you just explain a little bit about Gildred Racing? Because we covered it when we reviewed the classic electric. But I'd love to hear your take on what you guys are doing, what customers are out there coming to you, like what client base are you serving, and what kind of cars are you building?
We're building classic Minis, and it's what do you want out of your classic Mini? Do you want it to be a completely insane rear-wheel drive, fire-breathing monster?
Yes.
Or do you want, a Sunday fun day grocery getter, quiet?
I like how you
humble?
call this a grocery getter, but it'll
mean-
lay 11s for a mile.
Yeah, well, it depends on, we can tune it down, and yeah, we can everywhere in between, from nut and bolt restorations on classic, faithful Mark I sort of cars, all the way up to this complete custom. Not everybody's cup of tea, but wild child sort of Mini Coopers. Yeah, and that's pretty much what we do. We do classic Minis. We're good at classic Minis, regardless of if they're electric, combustion, A series, B series, D series, Honda powered, whatever. We do it all as long as it's in this package.
Amazing. So tell me a little bit more about what I'm about to experience today. Engine is obviously the thing that comes to mind first because that's the most bonkers thing about this car. But
Yeah.
I imagine you've also, again, upgraded chassis, suspension, some braking systems. So
Yeah.
what should our audience know? I know you're on R888s, which is a serious tire.
Yep. It's about it is the most serious tire that you can really get that fits on a 13-inch rim. I think these are for like Miata guys for track days. But they work great on a Mini. It's a 225/45, I believe. So it's still tiny, but it's about as sticky as you can possibly get on this size tire. The engine is from an Acura CL Type S. It's been stroked to 3.5 liters, and we've strapped a Road Track supercharger to it. So it's putting about just over 500 to the wheels. Yeah, it scoots pretty good.
If we open the trunk, will you see the engine?
You'll see mostly a muffler.
Oh, interesting.
But
Okay.
it's there. Yeah, this is our air-to-air intercooler. The NACA ducts on the windows just feed the intercooler.
It's very GT4 RS of you.
There you go. Yeah, it's just trailing arm rear suspension, and then again relatively standard front suspension.
So it just sounds insane.
Yeah, it's pretty bonkers. It does have some pretty good Willwood brakes up front,
Okay.
and then it's got some upgraded Miata calipers in the rear.
Oh, interesting. So discs all around.
Disc all around. So yeah, it's got some stop underneath it, which is good.
Inside, it looks like a upgraded gauge or some sort of custom gauge setup, and
Yep,
even
custom-
an iPad in there.
Yeah, so not quite an iPad, but yeah, just a touchscreen kind of Bluetooth integration
Okay.
with nav. Air conditioning.
What are the seats out of? Are those
The
custom seats?
The
or-
seats are classic Recaros that we had reupholstered.
Wow.
Yeah, they're kind of
They're
period
epic.
correct with the netting even.
Yeah, I love them.
Yeah, reupholstered to match. And then
And then even cooled, or I should say air cooled, right?
yeah, the driver's seat is it has a clever little heat and cool. Somehow it makes cold with electricity.
Okay.
It's magic as far as I'm concerned.
So it's like a comfort build and a crazy build
The
all in one.
idea, yeah, the idea was a grand touring Mini, I guess you could say. Something that you could actually drive for a long distance without being completely uncomfortable and beat up, but also something that will knock your socks off. Yeah, totally custom interior, of course. Power windows, central locking, keyless entry, and
Right, I noticed you have a key right here. It's pretty crazy, actually. So it just has like, you know, tick every box, if you will. All the comfort and the sport boxes.
Literally that.
I'm a fan of.
If you were to build the craziest, most outlandish, fully loaded Mini, what would it be? And this is kind of what we came up with.
Epic. Well, I can't wait to have a go. You mentioned a few things about driving it. It's a very, very quick gearbox.
Yes.
So second gear starts,
Second
maybe.
gear start, pretend it's a dogleg 5-speed. It does have the same gear ratios as the Acura TL did. We did not replace the final drive in this car.
Interesting.
We are on the next ones. This one, we had to stick with stock final drive just because we didn't have time to have a custom one cut for it. So the gears are real short and they pull really hard. So you've just gotta shift it.
Yeah, stay on it, shift it, enjoy it, and the clutch pickups right on the ground, you were saying.
Right on the ground. So yeah, it's a little bit touchy to get used to at first, but it's got a heavy flywheel still.
Okay.
So it's not too
it's
unforgiving.
drivable.
It's honestly relatively forgiving. You can just idle it, you know, up a hill in third gear, basically.
So don't even need throttle for starts.
Yeah.
Amazing.
Yeah.
Well, thanks again for letting us have a go in this. I know we came to experience this for the main channel.
Yeah.
But what an experience to be able to have to go in this thing. So we'll go out for a quick cruise, probably the same road we did in this one, and just experience kind of both. And I imagine a lot of people, your customers who have these or want these, kind of also want those.
There's room for two. They fit in a single car garage, so.
That's right.
Yeah.
Very cool. Well, let's go out. Let's go for a rip. And thanks again for all the info.
Sure.
Well, you join me and Andreas now inside the Super Cooper. And I just want to insert a clip of us driving over here because it was another worldly experience.
It definitely was.
So watch what we experienced on the way over here, just as we were getting a taste of this Super Cooper.
Yeah.
Guys, we are in a 500 horsepower to the wheels classic Mini Cooper with a supercharged 3.5 liter V6. The rev matches sound incredible! I don't think I can shift as fast as this thing needs me to. Whoa. This is my new favorite car. So that was pretty stupid.
Yep.
So fast. Sounds incredible. Just like my dream Mini, because it is trying to kill you, which I love. And the fact that they said they're going to make another one with like 200 horsepower or more. I mean, are these people out of their mind? I love it. So to start it up, put on the clutch. It is keyless start, keyless entry, also passive unlock and lock. Like the Tesla, as I walk away with the key, it locks. As we get closer, it unlocks. Push and hold. Sounds amazing. We're going to go slightly up on the window. I'm going to crack my window slightly as well, just a little bit of airflow. Let's actually remount this one up and we'll go. This camera view isn't going to be amazing, but I'm having trouble with the mount to get it fully sorted anyway. So there we go. And the clutch pickup's right on the ground, we found out. So let's just pull out of here gently. No throttle needed, of course. I am in first gear, but they said second gear is fine. I'm actually having a fine time starting this in first. I prefer short gearboxes anyway, so gentle pulling out. Rear drive. Beautiful ponies around. It's pretty docile when you drive it nicely. I mean, at the end of the day, it's a Honda engine. The tune isn't bad either. So we can just drive it around normally, cruising like this. I mean, the overall feel of this car is kind of what I would want from a Mini. It's a reliable Honda engine. There's not much really to worry about. It uses the stock transmission. Like, it's not anything that's crazy overstressed. Yes, it has a supercharger, so it's pushed more than stock, but it's docile, it's easy to rev match, it's just not that difficult. It's got a lot of compression off throttle, similar to actually the regen in the Classic Mini. But what a mind warp it is getting out of that Classic Mini and into this, because the Classic, I keep calling this not a Classic, this is still a Classic, but with the electric one was front wheel drive and had 300 horsepower. Now we have 500 horsepower and rear wheel drive, so a completely different driving experience. The front wheels now are only responsible for turning the car and braking the car, so not accelerating, stopping, and turning. So it makes a huge difference in the dynamics of this car here. As we get into first gear, it's a little bit, really not bad getting going. I was gonna say it's a little touchy, it's really not. We'll just roll on it in second slightly. There is a car coming towards us, but just to demonstrate slight power, that's 30% throttle, just whoop. It is stupid. Is someone running over here? They're afraid of the Super Cooper. You just put your foot down and it's 350 pound-feet of torque, something like this. Even the bikers are happy, and bikers are never happy with my driving. Ponies, yes. Andreas has the out-of-spec filming technique. We always film animals first, cars second. The suspension's very compliant. It squats when you hit the throttle. It's soaking up these bumps, dare I say, nicer than the electric one. Yeah. It seems like a way more sorted suspension system. And the guys were saying they wanted to even take it a step farther, so very interesting here. But driving it like this is normal. I can't wait to get it over on the smooth pavement and rip it up that hill. It's gonna be cool. But even here through some of the corners, I mean, crazy. Not even gonna downshift, we'll just stick it in. Doesn't need much throttle. This is like where a normal Mini was at full throttle before, and that's me just touching the throttle 5%. So the whole car is literally trying to kill you as much as possible. Oh my God. So the guy said we should do a launch.
Yeah, still launch.
I'm kind of afraid to do a launch. They said second gear launch it. Now they didn't give me any tips as to what RPM I should launch at. Let's see, there's second gear. So maybe 3,000? Yeah, hooks. Second gear launch, no wheel spin, just, I think we popped a wheelie. Yeah. I mean, just, that is absolutely insane. The whole steering went light and we just came up. Wow. We got to get an outside clip of that. Okay. So let's get an outside clip of that, because that's the craziest thing I've ever experienced. So we'll definitely insert that there for you now. Okay, we're back continuing. That must look stupid from the outside. We're just gonna go continue for a drive. So Andreas, you wanna share just a couple thoughts as a passenger? Is it as scary as I am as a driver, or is it that wild?
No, it's not as scary as the electric one from before, because it's not so dirty as the other one. So
okay.
I feel a little bit safer here, I would say.
Yeah, I mean, this car definitely still is darty off throttle. It wants to, you know, sort of tram line and just go. Okay. But the electric one was, I agree, way worse.
Yeah. So I feel safer, but I still feel like we're gonna die, so.
Also, no horn in this one.
Oh.
What do you need it for anyway?
Exactly.
Amazing. I don't want to like go crazy fast on these bumpy roads because it just spins up the tires, but here the pavement smooths out. Wow. It is so stupid. It is so stupid. The guy loves it on the bike, hell yes. Transmission's pretty tight, like you just kind of have to man it into gear, and the clutch has to go to the floor, of course, but nothing unusual. And I'm just in love. I want this thing so bad. I want to do skids and drifts and treat it like how a classic Mini with 500 horsepower should be treated. I'll tell you one thing, it doesn't need any more power.
No, nothing doesn't.
But I would say, like, watching Matt's review, they said they made a lot of changes since then to just make the car handle better on these bumpy roads. And we're carrying a decent speed, like pretty good. And it feels, like you were saying, much less darty than their electric one that we were driving. So it feels pretty good. And, you know, I'm just kind of cruising along nicely. It's not like you need that much power once you're up to speed, but you can just let the car work a little bit. We're not bottoming out over these bumps, which is great. Just moving along pretty good. Even that guy likes it. Yeah, definitely a cool car, and maybe not as scary as they initially let it off to be. Maximum speed through here. We gotta be mindful that there might be other people on this road. The mid-range is great, but as soon as you hit, you know, 5,000 RPM, that's when it freaking gets on boil and just goes, man. No ABS here. But look at this thing ripping through the corners. This one's a little dusty. So good. Maximizing the tire grip, and then we get someone straight in our lane in an electric Ioniq. That'd be a bad way to go. At least let's hit something cool. No other way of describing this car. Like, you just have to be on your game all the time. It's amazing. Truly amazing. It smells great. Just the front end goes loose, just lift off, and we'll give it a chance to cool down. So I think all you guys need to know is this is one of the coolest driving experiences I've ever had. As a real Mini enthusiast, what a honor it is to be able to drive this car and be given the keys and to go have a blast. And truly it is everything I hoped it would be and more. So we'll get some outside shots, get the windows down, get some AC rolling in here. But Andreas, this car is incredible.
It's amazing. Hans becomes.
Well, there you guys go. Just one of the coolest driving experience ever, isn't it? I mean, just insane acceleration, but also it's a classic Mini, so it's small, it's nimble, the tiniest bit of steering input gets that thing to move, but I really enjoyed it and had an absolute blast. And actually, the more time I spent with it, the less scary it became. It was almost like, oh, I can go wide open here and I can get it out a little bit and start working it into some corners, and you're just coming around with opposite lock. The car's just always kind of loose, and you just mat the throttle and hang on, and it squats and rips. It's insane. Truly an amazing experience. Little things that just every project car has, little tiny things that need some improvements. The clutch just like you got to go way deep, and as it started to warm up we had to go deeper, but little things that can't be that are not hard to fix later. I mean, as close as perfect as a car can be made, for me, this gets right up there, just because it is scary in a sense, especially when you first get in it. It's exciting. There's something to talk about. It's not like a lot of these modern supercars or sports cars that you can drive at 180 miles an hour with one finger on the steering wheel. You know, when we're in Germany doing top speed runs, like, it's not that exciting. You just sit there all day and you get bored. This, you got to work for the performance. You're moving the car around. I mean, truly, it's like your brain is on and to get the most out of this thing. And if it isn't, you're in a tree. And I love that. So it's just been a great experience here. The guys are just epic. and can't thank them enough for letting me drive this thing. So head to gildardracing.com if you want to learn more about this. There's other videos online of better reviewers than me driving it as well. So I encourage you to look at the Hoonigan videos and Matt's video. And it's been updated since Matt drove it, but it's still one of the best days ever at the office. So can't thank these guys enough for having us. See you at another one soon. Bye-bye.